What's up? Good morning, Mike. How are you, man?
Man, I'm fantastic. How you doing, Austin?
I'm doing awesome. Welcome. Good morning. By the way, you did like the flip flop thing. It's like we're like Nicolas Cage face off right now.
We are we? Okay, how's that work? Oh yeah,
I
that's
think
right.
I think I've got more of a Travolta look, and you've got more of a Cage look. And I think Travolta's the bad guy, right?
Travolta's still the bad guy.
So that makes me the bad guy.
Is he? Yeah, he's the bad guy because Nicolas Cage, he was the one that like had the wife, and then he was like the cop guy.
Yeah.
Cop.
Okay.
Nicolas Cage. That sounds like had the wife, and then.
Oh, hold on. So we've established that this morning that I'm the bad guy.
Why are you the bad guy?
Well, because I look more like I've got the hair.
You got such nice hair.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay, so who would you be in that movie? Would you be Travolta or would you be Cage?
No, I'd be Cage with the crazy eyes.
So I'm Travolta. That's right. Yeah.
Cage always has crazy eyes. Every movie, every time.
But are we actually both the good guys? So like I'm the good guy when it's Travolta, and you're the good guy when it's Cage. Like, are we both the good guys? See what I did there?
I see what you did there. Okay, that's a little mind bending for 10 a.m. on a Saturday.
Okay. Well, welcome. Welcome to the morning podcast. So good morning, everybody. Welcome to the morning podcast, where we also review late 90s. Was that late 90s? 1996?
That was a late 90. Yeah, that was late 90. 96, 97, 98, somewhere in that range.
Somewhere there. Okay. Late 90s movies, apparently. So if you got a late 90s movie you want us to review, throw it in there. Who knows? But anyway, so welcome to the Saturday morning Q&A. We'll answer anything you want to know about real estate. We love doing this. I'm Austin Pothast. I'm the director of sales on the team. Mike Perna is our CEO. Collectively, we're like, I don't know what the actual number is, but like damn near 40 years in the business, which is interesting because we both turned 40 this year. But anyway, which means that you've been in real estate longer than you haven't. Oh,
really?
I mean, it's just what it is.
Are we doing that? Oh, it's horrible.
That is what it is, right?
Yes.
But anyway,
that's a thing.
That's a thing. So throw your questions in there. I know. Thanks, Rashiko. Throw your questions in there. We're broadcasting on Facebook. We're broadcasting on YouTube. We're broadcasting on all kinds of stuff, our webpage. Yep. So any questions that you have, throw it in there, and we'll make sure that we answer them. With that said, before we get going with anything real estate, can I give kind of a shout out for a conversation we had this week?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. So Keller Williams, for those of you that don't know, Keller Williams, we're a team that operates under the Keller Williams umbrella. That's the larger company that we work for within the brokerage, right? And we operate out of a couple of Keller Williams locations, but because we're so large. But anyway, they put out like ranking lists, right? And they do it for a bunch of categories. They do it for the amount of families helped. They do it for volume of dollars sold. They do it for all kinds of things. And there's Keller Williams is the largest real estate company in the United States. It might actually be the world. I actually don't know that, and I don't know what the exact agent count is, but it's somewhere in the 180 range, 180,000 real estate agents that work under the Keller Williams umbrella. Yep. It's by far the largest real estate company. You can make a case that Realogy, operating under one brand. A lot of people don't know this, but Century 21, Coldwell Banker, Sotheby's, ERA are all operate actually under the same brand under different brands. It's kind of like General Motors. With like
Buick and all those brands that don't exist anymore. And
I was just going to say that, except for who's Pontiac and who's Saturn, but right. I digress. Who's Oldsmobile? I digress. But anyway,
whose car was it? Oldsmobile.
Yeah, was it really?
Yeah. Had a little Cutlass. It was nice.
Did you really? Did you have the 2-door Cutlass or the 4-door?
Oh, it was white. Yeah. It was like the perfect car, right? I got it from the little old lady who barely put any miles on it. This is the one you want. I had that car for almost 6 months before it was wrecked.
Ladies and gentlemen, buy your 16-year-olds beaters.
Yep.
Don't buy them a new car.
Ain't that the truth? Now, to be fair, in my defense, I did not do that. I was stopped. I was at a light. It was red, right? and a car was coming across the intersection and just went to the left and then clipped me like right on the front and then spun me around, and then that was it. It was done.
So was that person driving also a 16-year-old?
No, that person was actually an older, been on the road anymore.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, they just gone across into the other lane, and there was nothing I could do.
Nothing you could do. Do you see? Yeah, you see Katie's comment?
Always, every day, every day.
That's a fantastic joke.
Yep. I in fact have warranties on that car. Right
Yeah,
now.
Yeah. That's a fantastic joke. All right, so there's 180,000 plus associates that work under the Keller Williams brand, and they put out those reports for top agents and top teams in the company, and it's something to make the first page. Like if you make the first page of 180,000, like that's an elite moment. And there was a couple of categories that we made first page, and then there was a couple other categories that we made like first team on the second page, right? If that makes sense, right? So like if your top 2 pages, it's almost like imagine if for any of you guys that are college football fans, or college basketball fans, in college basketball, there's like 300 teams. And if you make the top 25, you're doing something. So imagine if there were 180,000 teams and you made top 20. It's like, it's a big deal. It's kind of my point. It's like, I don't even think big deal summarizes how big of a deal it is. It's a big deal, right?
It's a big deal.
Anyhow, so now let's be really honest about this, and let's throw some gratitude out there. And I know, Mike, you feel this way. I know I feel this way. We talk about it constantly, but like, that's a testament to the families that allow us to serve them. That's a testament to the people that show up and get better every day on our team and care about the families that they're serving. And that doesn't happen on accident, right?
Yeah.
That many people don't choose to work with us on accident. That many people don't choose to work with us by accident. And one of the things that we talk about when we bring people into the organization is like, actually, we have a bunch of core values. I've talked about this before. Our number one core value is no jerks. Like if you're not the type of person that genuinely cares about what happens to other people, you can't be right. Yeah. I can't be in business with you. We can't be in business with you. And there's a lot of families that trust us with like their biggest financial asset purchase, So anyway,
there's a good one. There she is. Yep. And for everybody that does not know, which I think is probably nobody at this point, my little sister Gina had a baby, which is just mind blowing to me, by the way, that kind of thing happened. And her name is Amelia. And I'm her favorite person, period.
Slam dunk favorite person.
Oh yeah. No, I've got the photo to prove it. And you know I'm going to show the photo off.
Also, shout out to your brother-in-law on the big England win on the soccer match. Shout out to him.
True that.
Yeah. I see you. A little controversial on that penalty kick, but you know. Fortune favors the bold. Yeah, it's a cute picture.
There it is.
Cute picture. Anyhow, so I just wanted to start with some gratitude. We're pretty excited about that, and we're coming for that number 1 spot.
You know we are. But I mean, seriously, being ranked across the board in the top 20 out of 180,000 in all categories, like 20 or better, is amazing. It's amazing, and we've talked about it. Like these past 2 years, we have come such a long way. And the organization looks completely different, which is great. The way we're servicing our clients looks different, which is great. I mean, you can even see it in the reviews that we're getting. Like our 5-star reviews right now are off the chart, which is, again, a testament to the agents that have chosen to be in business with us, which is, a testament to your leadership, Sadie's leadership, all of it. It's good.
Good stuff.
I'm excited.
By the way, you know what's interesting about this too, Mike? One of the things that we coach to the agents all the time is like, hey, focus on what's important to your clients and what's important to their families. And the sale will happen as a result. Right?
Yeah.
Oh, we're not doing iPad. I'm talking, buddy. And what we did within the organization, that's Ace. What we did within the organization is kind of similar. We focused on the culture first, and helping people accomplish what's important to them. And The business happens after. It's not the leading indicator, it's the lagging indicator. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Money doesn't lead, it follows. Anyway. So anyway, I thought that was pretty cool. By the way, you guys, if you have questions around real estate, please throw them in there. We're eventually going to start talking about real estate. I just thought it was I don't know, make a top page, something to brag about. So I thought I'd brag about it.
Dude, it's worth bragging about. I think we were both kind of surprised.
We were like, whoa.
We were on the phone and we were like, yeah, let's pull the stats for the month. Let's see where we're at. And then we were both like, oh. Like it got quiet for a minute.
That's right. It really did get quiet. We're both like mouse.
We're both concentrating. Yeah. You guys that talk a lot. We didn't talk at all. There we go.
Throw that question up for Logan.
Yeah, man. Morning, Logan.
Morning, Logan. When more bad than good seems to be happening and you just want to give up, but you know you can't. Real talk.
Oh, that's a good one. I mean, I know how I do it. I'm kind of curious how you do it.
Gosh, man. Here's a couple of things. Here's how I do it. Ready?
Yeah.
I focus on the process and not the outcome. Right. By the way, that's like anything in my life. Like you don't get fat or skinny overnight. It's the process of what in the habits that you build. Another way to say that is like you choose your habits and your habits choose your life. Right.
Yeah.
And I just find that over the course of time, it's interesting that he brings it up, because it's like you can make a choice. God, I just talked to the team about this. Your brain is wired two ways. Ready, Mike? Mm-hmm. You've never even heard me give this talk. Mm-hmm. Your brain is wired two different ways. It's either wired towards fear or it's wired towards love. And you can't do both at once, right?
Right.
And so when you're operating out of fear, you think things like, if this falls apart, I'm screwed, right? That's a fear. Or if I can't help this go through, I'm screwed. Like it's a lack. Or this person should have done this, or this is somebody else's fault. Or you start saying I statements.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You make it about yourself. I. And when you're operating out of love, right? So you can either go fear or you can go love, and you can't go both. You can't do both at the same time. There's no middle area, right? And when you're operating out of love, and you have your pathway for love, the first thing that you're focusing on is serving other people, right? And the first thing that you're focusing on is serving other people. And when you serve other people, good things happen. Now, here's the interesting thing about being generous and serving other people. Like, if you ever find yourself being generous and then like mad that it wasn't reciprocated, that means you weren't serving other people. You were serving other people with the expectation of reciprocation. But when you actually take the time to serve other people, and like, you can't be committed to the outcome. Right. And so what's interesting about that, it's like a giver's gain mentality. Like if you help out 100 people and you're generous to 100 people, I promise you 5 or 10 of them are going to screw you over.
Yeah.
Right? And if you don't, that means you lost out on the 95 that you could have helped. And I just find in philanthropists talk about this. Anybody with a big life, you hear them talk this language. Anybody, and I find it happening in my life in like micro things, but it still happens. Like the more that I focus on other people and giving, the more it's not an expectation. It just happens. My life gets bigger. Does that make sense? So sometimes when we get stuck in a rut, we're too focused on the outcome. We're too focused on, we're not focused on the process, and we're living in a place of fear within our brain instead of a place of love. Right? We're expecting something different. We're expecting the fact that our actions will give us something different. And the fact of the matter is that if you are constantly doing the right thing and you're constantly reaching out and loving people, like it'll turn back around. So actually you might be stuck in a rut because of the way you're thinking, Logan. That's how I actually think what might be going on, without knowing any other details, by the way. But anyway.
Yeah.
Try not to stay in it for too long. Yeah, like you find yourself in a rut. Yeah. Just like
I like
get out of your own brain and find someone else to love on, right?
Mm-hmm.
Huh?
Yeah, I like the purposefulness of that word, decide.
Yeah, decide.
Because it is your choice. Your mindset is your choice. And I'll piggyback on that a little bit because, I mean, and we've all been in rust before, right? And myself recently. For me, I start with my gratitudes because it's hard to be grateful and any sort of negative emotion at the same time. Any sort of negative emotion, right? So I've got a couple of dry erase markers, and I'll just write them. Like if I'm like in a rut and I know I'm in a rut, I'm right on my bathroom mirror. So I've got to walk by and see that 5 times a day, right? And I force and look at it because if I'm grateful for something, then I'm also not depressed or pissed off or any of those other emotions. Does that make sense? And then second one as an action item, to your point, maybe do some volunteer work. Maybe jump over to a soup kitchen or a homeless shelter or a Habitat for Humanity. Take a day. Like if it's a big rut, take a day. Just get out of your own place. Go help somebody that's less fortunate. Because, when you're giving, you're actually getting more than you get.
Yeah.
You're getting more than you give. I said that
Mike,
right.
you just went through this, by the way. You just went through something tough personally, and you were living in abundance. You were living in lack and fear. You were.
Absolutely.
And,
Absolutely.
And you and I had a lot of heart-to-heart talks. I appreciate it. And like one of the things I kept on saying to you was in different words, but I was trying to get you to live in love and abundance.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
I don't right in the mirror and block the amazing view. I feel that, Logan.
That's good, man. That's good.
I feel that.
Yeah. But it's true. And then the third one is I always try to focus on like micro wins, right? What's the small win I can do right now? Like it may not necessarily lead to a result, but it's something I can check off a list or something I can mark done. You know what I mean? Like in real estate, it could be I've got to call 10 past clients to wish them happy birthday or see how they're doing or whatever that looks like, right? Hey, I may not get business from it, but hey, you know what? I had 10 great conversations with 10 great families and 10 great people caught up on their lives. I can check that off, and that in and of itself is a win. And I can build on a small win.
Yeah.
Mentally, I can build on that and make it bigger, and then keep kicking that can down the road until I'm just naturally out of it.
Yeah. Again, like focus on micro wins. Yeah. And by the way, like micro wins happen every day in your life in little ways.
And it could be just get in the yard mode, like get out there and mow the lawn. And then you look back and then stop and then look at it and be like, okay, I accomplished this. Awesome. We're moving the ball forward. I can move on to the next thing.
Yeah. Yep. I feel you, man. If you're thinking about moving in a year or so, when's a good time to bring out a realtor? Look at your home, know what you should do to get more value. What's your answer?
Mine's about 120 before you're going to go on the market.
Yeah. My answer's just do it right away.
Is it? Yeah.
Yeah, just do it right away, because here's what's implied within this question is what Sarah's trying to do is she's trying to make sure that she maximizes the value on her home. Correct? I mean, you'd agree with that, right?
Yeah.
And so one of the conversations that I have with sellers all the time is, are you more worried about how much you're going to walk away with? Or are you more worried with like the actual money, net money out of your pocket? Or are you more worried about like the dollar amount the house sells? And those are two different things, because watch this. Let's pretend that right now your home is worth $400,000 and you could do 20,000 in repairs and get 415 out of it. Technically you got more money for your house, but you would have lost some money, right?
Right.
And there's a lot of like little things like that can happen, and there's some pitfalls. And so I don't think it's too soon. Like I think if you're looking a year out, you should talk to a professional. The other thing that's implied within that conversation or within that question, in my opinion, Mike, is timing. I'm trying to time out this move. Now, in my experience, there's two reasons that people look to time out their move, Mike. One is something's actually happening a year from now, right? Like my kid's graduating from high school and we need to move, right? Like, or whatever it is, there's actually an event happening. And I actually find that happens less than people just trying to time out the right time to move. That's the second, right? Either there's actually something happening, or you're trying to time out when the best time on the buy and sell would be, right?
Yeah.
And so actually making that decision with data So if this isn't a move that's like, hey, look, something's happened in a year and we have to wait a year, but to actually time out that move with actual data, like, okay, here's what that looks like. Here's the risk that you run. Because the truth of the matter is that there's some inherent risk right now in what's going on in the market because of the fact that, look, it's really high. Like it's a great time to sell right now. And I know what the market is right now. I don't know what the market's going to be in a year.
That's true.
And even a 0.5% or 1% jump in like interest rates, or even a ramp back up with COVID, who knows, right? Like there could be a political. My point is that, now, by the way, that's it's just really difficult to time the market. And so what I would say is get a professional opinion. Actually, let's look at some statistics. Mm-hmm. And I know one of the things that I do for clients all the time. And again, this is coming from contribution, not trying to make a sale, right? There is a difference. Coming from contribution is sitting in someone's home and being like, hey, for real, you probably should do this. And if you did this over the next 4 months, you'd get a little more value. Here's the other thing that I find, Sarah, with most of my best clients is like, look, man, I got 2 kids and a wife. Like, if someone came to me and sat with me 90 days before I wanted to go on the market and said, you've got to do this, 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 and this, and this, that's overwhelming to me. I mean,
that's fair.
How long it takes to get a project done in my house? It's like, it's impossible, right? And so, so anyway, I would say it's never kind of too early to have some more information. And by the way, worst case scenario, you end up with a relationship, and at least I take this approach within my clients, like, okay, I helped someone out, and that might turn around and lead the business for me. But at the beginning of the day, I'm leading with love and I'm leading with contribution. And I'm trying to help somebody out. So I don't think it's too early if it's a year, depending on what's going on, though.
Yeah, right. No, that's pretty fair. I mean, and to your point, if there's a specific event happening, then you guys stick to that event. The other 2 parts of that, I think, are, as much what should I not do as what should I do. Right. And to your point, like I'm seeing a lot of clients right now saying, well, I'm going to go get the kitchen done. And they're going to spend $40,000 on a kitchen and get 20 back on a return. I'm going to go get the bathroom done, spend $20,000 on that, get maybe an $8,000 or $10,000 return. There are just some projects in some areas and some price points that it makes no sense. I mean, they're nice to have, but you're chasing good money after bad money, because you can only stretch the sales price of a home so far before somebody goes to the next neighborhood and the next area and the next location or whatever that looks like. Yeah. And the second part of it is, we were just talking macro with what could happen with interest rates, what could happen, politically or whatever all that looks like, but also look at it micro too, right? Like there are some price ranges that just move swiftly year round, doesn't matter. There are some price ranges where there's more of a wave. There are some areas that are more of a wave, right? So timing that and looking back over the 12-month data and saying, okay, and I've done this before where, hey, you're looking to move in 12 months. It would actually benefit you to move actually 14 months from now, or back it up to 9 months. Because if you look at this data, basically there are less properties on the market here, but the buyer traffic is super strong, which means you're going to get a better sales price.
Yeah.
And even if it's like $5 a square foot or $8 a square foot, those can be some big numbers, some super big numbers.
Yeah, $8 square foot over 5,000 square feet.
Yeah.
It's $40,000. Right. Yeah. Yeah. It's all situational. Yeah. So have a conversation. Worst case, you sit at the kitchen table and figure it out for an hour. It's like, yeah. Oh, I got to tell you too, oftentimes we do a lot of this. Is we find off-market buyers. And so even a conversation, you're welcome, Sarah, even a conversation up front, sometimes I can put it on my radar. And if someone came across now the conversation that we would have with the buyers, like, hey, look, these guys want to go on the market. Like, this probably isn't like a negotiation thing. Like, this is what they need to get if you're interested in it. And if not, we'll have to find something else. But it's like, you know what I mean? It's not always that way. There's always a negotiation. But my point is that, look, especially right now, especially with families and like all that stuff, like a lot of sellers like having that, having that kind of off-market conversation. Yeah. It doesn't always happen, but oftentimes we're able to do it.
Yeah. And that's not a bad thing. I mean, as long as we're getting what we can get for the sellers, if that's whom we're representing, then brilliant.
Yeah. Yep. Agreed.
Yeah.
I feel like there was another question.
Let me scroll back up a little bit.
You have real estate questions. Throw them in there.
Yeah.
Not necessarily a question, but the number of services for your clients and agents that you continue to add is impressive. Most people settle for basic services only, but you can continue to expand. Yeah. You know what's interesting, Rashiko? I'm glad you said that, and thank you. I mean, that's a compliment. Thank you. Look, man, in life, you're either growing or shrinking.
Yep.
Right. There's no such thing as staying the same.
Nope.
And so I know it's something that we focus on. We're always looking to be on the cutting edge and adding services and all those things, because if we don't provide the value for our clients and we don't provide the best services possible, then our clients are going to vote with their feet, and go elsewhere. And by the way, you've seen this happen with businesses like,
oh, for sure. 100%.
I'm not going to call it out, but there was this business in Novi, and like the last time I walked in there, they still smoked inside. It's like the most 70s thing to do possible. And
was it Blockbuster?
By the way, it was like 10 years ago that I walked in there last. But I walked in there and they were still smoking inside, and I was like, oh.
That's pretty recent.
Yeah.
That's really recent for that kind of thing.
Well, whenever they banned, I'm trying to, maybe it was 15 years ago. Actually, maybe it was 15 years ago, but still like recent.
Yeah.
It's like hard to compete. Anyway, and kind of my point with all that is like, if anyway, it's the right thing to do for clients anyway. And there's always new tech coming out and always new service. Mike, you're kind of a genius at this. I call Mike a world-class fiddler. He's just always fiddling with stuff and figuring stuff out. So you're always on the cutting edge of stuff. Anything you want to talk about? Anything like new and cutting edge that we've added?
Actually, yeah, I will talk about one thing specifically, but that always reminds me of like the Blockbuster versus Netflix.
Yeah.
Right. And part of that story is, Blockbuster just hitting those late fees super hard and just not willing to let go, and Netflix saying, hey, you can keep a DVD for 3 months. We don't really care. Right. Yeah. Just mail it back when you want, and then we'll just mail you the next one. Then eventually going online with it. And then it became Netflix versus the other streaming services like HBO, Showtime, all of that. Yeah. And Netflix you can get as a standalone. HBO's first foray into that. And actually I've been listening to a lot of Business Wars, which is a great podcast, by the way. Great podcast. Highly recommended. I'm at that part where I'm listening to how HBO went up against Netflix, and what they did was they released their own app called HBO Go. Is it Go or Now? It was one of the two.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot about that one. Yeah.
And I remember getting it. I remember going back 12 years or whatever it was. I remember saying, "Oh my gosh, I could totally get HBO like on my iPad, on my phone. This is so good. I don't need to go get cable to do it." I downloaded it, went to sign in. They said, "Nope, you actually have to have a cable subscription." So to get the $10 a month HBO app at the time, I had to pay $80 a month to some sort of a cable provider, which made no sense.
Yeah.
Like, I'm out, guys. I'm out. Yeah. Right. And so that whole mentality of you've got to continue to change and look where the consumers are going and then beat them to it.
Yeah.
Right. And that's what, let's be honest. That's what Amazon did. That's what Facebook did. That's what Google does. That's what Apple does. Like people, I did not know I wanted an iPhone until the iPhone was out.
Yeah.
Right. And
I was stuck in BlackBerry for a long time, man.
Yep. Well, and flip phones. So there were, you can go back and look, but if you go back to, let's say 2004 and 5, you'll find dozens of articles from all the experts, phones, right, about the foldable phones, and saying, hey, there will never be a flat phone again. This is the future of phones forever, because people want them small into their pocket. And then all of a sudden, on one day, 2006, the world shifted.
Yeah.
And now, let's be real. Who has a foldable phone? Nobody. Right. Yeah. That game has been changed. So for us, what our next edition looks like, we just brought a lady on who is amazing. I'll shout her out. Her name is Linda. If you're watching, Linda, hello. And her sole purpose in life is to continue to provide value to our past clients beyond the closing. And here's what that looks like. So as an example, we've got, back to school coming up, which, I mean, I'm not trying to like ruin anybody's summer here, but we're 60 days away. We're less than 60 days away, right?
Yes.
We're 50 days away from back to school. And what comes with back to school is back to school photos. And to be honest, they're expensive and they're hard to coordinate. And and for some districts, it's a mess. So this year, we've got 3 professional photographers now on the team. So this year we're providing professional back to school photos for all of our past clients, no charge.
Yeah.
Right. And we're going to have a couple weekends set up in late August and September at a couple of different locations where somebody can sign up right on the calendar for an open spot. They can come in, have their photos taken with their kids, and they walk out and those photos are in their hand.
By the way, do you have to be a past client?
Nope. Actually, no. It's open to anybody.
Yeah. So any of you guys that want to do back to school photos with your kids, contact us. We're doing them for free.
Yeah. Gina, I'm not flying you out for them. Not going to happen.
No, not gonna happen.
Yeah.
Yes, you would. You'd fly them out to see your niece.
I can fly them. Well, yes. Okay. Yeah, that's right. I might fly my niece out. They're on their own.
You're gonna put a 1-year-old on a plane.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. Not even one, like 6-month-old.
Yep.
Yeah.
But that's one thing that we're doing, right? And then again, we're getting, we're halfway through the year. Christmas is coming, right? As they said in Game of Thrones, winter is coming, and it is, which is so good. What do we got here?
Jennifer, that's funny.
Yeah, she does. Yeah.
Can I tell you the worst dad joke I made yesterday?
Yeah.
Jennifer's got a 10-year-old and a 2-year-old. And I was like, oh, 10 and 2, like driving.
That's a horrible dad joke.
Bad dad joke. Sorry, Jennifer.
That's good. That's good. Yeah. But, same thing in the winter, photos with Santa. Because sometimes, like, if you're like sometimes you can book them in, like some places allow you to book a time. But I'll tell you, I walked through Somerset at Christmas and it is a mess. And I'm not a parent, but if I was, there's no chance I'm standing in that line for 2 hours. I don't know if you've driven by it.
I thought it was funny.
Okay. You just leaving that up there.
All right, I'll hide it. All right.
Yeah.
So back to school. So one of the things that we're doing is we're launching like a past client program to provide value for our past clients. And we're
Yeah. And then part of it comes with like trying to negotiate services. Like again, all coming up. So HVAC is a big thing. You really should. And honest to God, guys, you should all have your furnaces checked and cleaned every year. And in a lot of cases, and I thump on this a lot because a lot of people miss this. A lot of newer furnaces, if you read the warranty, somewhere between like Lennox, like about year 5, and it's either 4 or 5 or 6, they're actually voiding the warranty by not getting your furnace cleaned by a licensed professional yearly.
Yeah.
In year 8 on a 12 or a 15-year warranty, something happens, let's say the fan breaks, and they come out and they say, hey, did you have the furnace serviced? And you say no. They're like, great, this $800 repair is on you, not us.
Yeah.
And that's a real thing. That's a real thing.
Yeah.
Not to mention it helps it run efficiently. It helps with the gas bill, all that. So where I was going with it before I went off on that tangent is the goal there. Oh, I'm on all the tangents. The goal there is negotiate a discount on furnace check. We can go to an HVAC guy and say, hey, look, we've got X amount of past clients. Of that, this many people would be interested in this. There's a value there in how many people we can bring to the table.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah. And it's a value both ways, right? It's a value for that vendor, that business owner who's looking at this and saying, okay, I can keep my guys busy for X amount of time. And there's a value for the clients saying, okay, I can get this much less than the normal rates on this.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah. That creates a win-win on both.
Yeah. We still haven't talked about real estate, by the way. It's been really good stuff. It's been good stuff. We just haven't talked about real estate. By the way, this is the real estate Q&A. And so if you guys have any real estate questions, throw them in there. We're happy to answer them.
We talked a little bit about real estate. All right, so I'll launch into it.
Yeah. Yes, we did. Yeah, we did. We answered Sarah's questions, right?
Yep.
Nailed it.
Okay, so coming out of June, there are a couple surprising numbers. So the number of homes on market or that went onto the market did increase to 16,500 across Metro Detroit.
So we're seeing an increased amount of homes on the market.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's the highest number of homes on the market that we've seen in almost 2 years, which is good, and which is really good because the demand has been off the rails. Everybody knows this, right? Or, well, you should know this. If you're considering purchasing or selling a home, just going back over the last 18 months, like when COVID hit, dropped, people said, okay, I'm working from home. I want to go into a new home where I really enjoy living. And so real estate just kind of went off the rails for a while, which is good, which is a good thing. Now the number of sales remains steady, right? So it remains steady at 14,000. Yeah. And what that means, if you're a buyer, in my opinion, today's the day, now's the time. So if you were looking back in February, March, even April, and you were competing against 15 or 20 offers, today the number of offers you're competing against has reduced dramatically, which is great. So you've got that shot to get into the property, and you should take. And in my opinion, you should take it because interest rates just tick down again to below 3, and I don't know that we're going to see a below 3 again after the end of this year. Period. Like ever. Like the Fed's already, like Janet Yellen has already said, hey guys, we are raising interest rates next year. Right? She actually shook the market twice with that. Yeah. So that's a real thing. Sellers, for you guys, like we have moved up the sales price over the last 12 months by 23% nationwide, and our local numbers hit about the same. So a year ago, our average sales price across the nationwide was $290. Today it's $350. So if you're looking to cash that equity, especially if you're a move down seller, again, today's the day, now's the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I do. And I have a couple of sellers like that right now. Like I've got one family that they are looking to move down. And because of the increase, it put them in a position where they're now a cash buyer, which is awesome. A year ago, they would not have been a cash buyer.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Which is pretty cool.
Look, and I just don't think long term we're going to see. It's like, even though there's an increased amount of homes on the market, I don't think we're going to see this big dip in prices. I don't. Like, no. The inventory problem is still the inventory thing is still real.
Yeah. Well, and I'm going to put a even finer point on that. So right now there are 9.3 million being advertised on Indeed. Like I just read that the other day. We can't fill the jobs. And if you're in an economy where you can't fill the jobs, which means unemployment is a choice, right? Like you're like somebody who is choosing not to work is literally in this market not to work. And when we're in that kind of a market,
not to work, agreed. Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, and that's okay. And I'm not saying you should work or should not work. I'm saying we're in an economy where we don't have a scarcity of jobs. We have an abundance of jobs. And as long as that continues, which it looks like there's no end in sight on that, real estate prices are just going to continue moving up, right?
Yeah.
Because what happens is you have employers competing for people, they're paying a little bit more incrementally, and those people that are making more go start, right? More home, more car, more vacation, whatever that is. And it's just a cycle. It's just an upward cycle that there are no indicators that there's an end in sight. And yes, I'm totally nerding out on this.
Yeah. And
I'm good with that.
Being a nerd's okay.
Ooh. There's a good question.
I'm interviewing a new agent today. What should my focus be? Showing assistant admin. That's the voice that I read that.
That's the voice.
How do I determine the level of service? Pay money and some percent of commission. Mike, what's your answer there?
My answer is always go to admin first. And if that person, you can pay them a little more to be a showing agent, that's a great place to start.
Yeah.
That's my opinion. Because the first thing, because
Wait, are you they're interviewing an agent to sell their home, or are they interviewing an agent to hire?
Hire onto a team.
Hire onto a team.
Yep. So I'm going right back to MREA.
First thing that you got to figure out, is it a culture fit?
Good point.
First thing you got to figure out, is this, like, I don't care someone's qualifications. I don't care if they're not the type of person that genuinely cares about the business, genuinely cares about the clients that they serve, and genuinely has a good attitude and is a good culture fit for your organization. It doesn't matter how talented they are, they're a cancer.
Yep. And to that point, I got lucky right? And then I'm not even gonna lie about it, guys. Realize what a good culture fit was until I didn't have one, and I got one on my first hire. So Connie, who is still with us, a decade later, who's amazing, and if you worked with her, you know that she's awesome.
Yeah,
she was a great culture fit, and I didn't even know what that was. It was just luck. That was just dumb luck.
yeah.
And then my second one was with me for about 6 months, and that was a horrible culture fit. And the clients felt it. I felt it. Everybody felt it. And I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to do at the time to look for that good culture fit or any of it.
Look, I could teach someone real estate, Kristen.
Mm-hmm.
I cannot teach someone not to be an asshole. Sorry to swear.
Yep.
Right? It's a culture.
Yep.
I don't. So okay.
What it is?
So then.
Okay. So let's say we've determined it's a good culture fit.
Yep.
We're in alignment
But by
with
the way,
vision.
Here's what we do. Hold on though. I'm still not done with this. Here's
Okay.
what we do. Is we operate out of a mindset of lack, and we think, we try to like make justifications why we should hire somebody, and we operate out of lack. And instead of operating out of abundance, that if this person isn't the right fit, then my job is to go find someone that is a right fit.
Yep.
Now on our team, we give people a chance, but if they show up and they're not the right fit, then I'll love you, but we can't be in business together, right? I could still love you, but we cannot be in business together, right? But
100%.
So for you, if you're bringing on one person, it's like you're not going to hire 5 to find the 3 or 4 that are great.
Right.
You're aiming to make one hire and nail it. And so sometimes what we do is we look at the paper and like, oh my gosh, and then we start to bend our standards around the person, right? Instead of starting with the standards of your business and your service standard to your client and the culture in which you're trying to create and making sure that person fits with that. What's that about it? He's going to go get a cozy pillow. My wife does the thing. She's got all the pillows on the bed. It's like the joke, right? It's the joke. Anyhow, so my son builds forts out of them, and she secretly hates it. That's what happens. Anyway,
you can't hate a pillow for it. I mean, you just can't.
I know, but she secretly hates that he uses the nicest pillows in the house to do it.
Well, they're the nicest pillows. What else would he use?
He literally calls them the cozy pillows, by the way.
I gotta check out these pillows.
They're cozy.
I bet they are.
Hey, bring me a cozy pillow.
I want to see this thing.
All right, bring me one over here, please.
Where'd this come from? Is this like a Target pillow? Like that seems like it'd be a nice pillow.
Yo, I don't know.
No, but to your point, the culture, it's got to be a culture match. It's got to be a vision match. It's got to be this is my paradigm on how I service clients and how I treat the business and how I treat other agents and people. And that person's either got to be in alignment or they are not the right fit, period. It's either 100% in or no.
Yep.
Like there is no middle ground.
Yeah.
Yeah. And to your point, it's not about, operating out of the lack. It's not about, okay, I've got this one person I'm interviewing and that's it. So I got to cling to this person for dear life.
Yeah. Look
at it the other way. You're providing a stable, reliable platform for income for a family, right? That's attractive. That just means you need to have more. Like if this is not the right fit and you're a little apprehensive that it's not the right fit, that just means you got to widen the funnel, talk to more people, make a couple more phone calls, call some of your past clients that you love and say, hey, who do you know that's just like you? Because birds of a feather flock together. That could be looking for a job in real estate, or maybe they're not looking for a job in real estate, but they're just like you, and I have a unique opportunity.
Yeah,
I go off on tangent this stuff forever.
I actually disagree with this statement too. I need an extension of myself, like a needle in a haystack. Staying stagnant isn't helpful, so something is better than nothing. I disagree with almost every sentence, every piece of the sentence. First, you don't need an extension of yourself. Actually, that's the value of bringing on people. It's like people think differently and they all bring something different to the table, and the sum of those parts always adds up bigger. So like, don't be afraid to bring on somebody that thinks differently than you, right?
Yeah, and Austin, I think you and I are a really good example of that, where like we operate very differently in a lot of cases. Like the end result goal of what we're after and the values that we've committed to, we're in alignment.
Yeah.
But we bring such different experience to the table your answers to problems that come up, and not necessarily problems, but things that need to get done. Let's say, like the next steps could be different from mine, and that's wonderful.
Yeah.
That's wonderful, and that's part of what we do, right? So, and again, I'll go back to Connie, or I'll go back to yourself, or I'll go back to Sadie.
Yeah.
Like between the three of us, we all operate very differently, but we also all have very high standards.
Yeah.
So I don't need to I don't need to micromanage Connie.
Yeah.
Right. I don't need to micromanage anybody, as long as I know and have faith that where they want to be is where I want to be.
Yeah.
They could take a different path to get there, but that doesn't mean the client will be any less happy. In fact, they'll probably be more happy because I'm really bad at real estate.
I would actually argue that we get way more done because of how differently we think. Same with Sadie and our leadership team, because like if someone's saying something crazy, that like the other person can say, whoa, hold on, right? Or we're more focused on getting it right than being right. Oh yeah, bring it over here, buddy.
Well, now and again, now we're blessed. We've got Andrew, who's now joined our leadership team. We've got Mike Cantrell. We've got Mark and Joe.
Look at this pillow. It's like, it's so soft.
That looks legit. It's so legit.
It's so legit, man. Look at this thing. Anyhow.
Oh, you're supposed to pull out the pillows.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. Staying stagnant isn't helpful, so something's better than nothing. Also disagree. Yeah. like trust me when I tell you that something could be substantially worse than nothing.
Yes, 100%. 100%. I've had that problem before on multiple occasions, where I've run around like a chicken and I made a hire just to get something done, and ended up backfiring on me, and it caused me more work later on.
Yeah.
Guys, I'm bald.
Yeah.
Like there's a reason.
Been in a relationship with real chemistry and like just things flow and the communication works, and versus have you been in a relationship where things are just like everything? It's like beating your head against the wall. It's like, man.
Yeah.
It's so much less productive. Yeah.
Yeah.
Kristen, I don't know if that helped, but
well, and all right, I'm going to go back to the nuts and bolts and finish up the rest of the original question.
Yeah.
Personally, I'd go after admin first, like just write down the red book, right? Gary Keller wrote this book called The Millionaire Real Estate Agent. I want to say it was 16 years ago, right? Is that about right? And since then, there still has not been a revision to the book because it's that good. And it's the number one book on how to build a real estate business. And the very first thing he says is hire an administrative assistant. Because Kristen, I know your power is being face-to-face, belly-to-belly with the client.
Yeah.
Right? Your power is not in ordering title, is not in, making sure a showing gets set up on one of your listings, not in, those things, right? Like ordering a sign or ordering the photography. Your power is in making sure the clients are being represented the best they can. They're getting the best deal, either selling or buying, right? That's what the power is, right? And Austin, you say it all the time about yourself, and I agree with it. And I say it about, I get paid for my skill in negotiation.
Yep.
And getting somebody to the closing and making sure they're getting into the right property.
Yep.
I'm actually not getting paid to order a sign. That's part of what we do, and it's important. But it's not important that I'm the person filling out the order form.
Yeah.
In fact, I'm really bad at that part of it.
So bad.
Yep. And Gail's not. Gail's good at it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And then if they want to earn some extra money being a showing assistant or a showing agent, that's great too.
Yep.
I'm good with that. But that's where I would go first as far as a hire goes.
Yep. Big time. And by the way, they're probably going to be better at it than you are.
What?
Just so you know.
They
are, though. Admin people are better at admin stuff than what
100%.
What we are. Yeah.
100%. Yeah. This is why nobody trusts me to do anything on that side of the table.
Oh. You and me both, brother.
Yeah, that day.
But I could serve and negotiate for a client with the best of them anyway.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Speaking of skill and negotiation, as a new agent, how do you hone that skill and build confidence?
That's a great.
It is a great question. This is a
This
is a life conversation, but yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah. Okay. So for us, the way that we do it is, the very first deal you're doing lockstep. You're doing the negotiate. If you're an agent, you're doing the negotiation with one of our multi-year, sold 20 million, 30 million plus veterans, right?
Yeah.
Because two things. One, we always want to make sure we keep the service to the client as high as possible. And number two, we always want to make sure that an agent is actually seeing something in real time, actual practice happening with their client on negotiation, right? And to be fair, to your point, Austin, it's a life lesson. It's not something I don't think that anybody can 100% know. It's something I think you just keep learning.
Yeah.
Right. And growing into, right? Because as you work towards that 10,000 hour rule in negotiation, you start seeing the nuances and you start feeling the nuances. You start hearing the pitch changes in the other agent's voice, and then you know where you can take it. Like all of those things, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I did not answer that well. I'm so sorry. You go.
Look at anything that we do in life, you guys. Anything. It doesn't like selling real estate is one thing, but it's like anything, right? Anything that you do in life. Angela Duckworth talks about this in the book Grit. It's a really good book. It's a little nerdy for me, but it's a really good book. She's incredibly intelligent, right?
She's an uber nerd.
Well, yeah, she just writes it like a research paper, and I just, anyhow.
Well, did you read both halves of it?
Yes.
Yeah, she treated her two daughters. It was so funny. Treated her two daughters like a science project for 2 years, and then she talked about like how to grow grit in people, and then what she did was she used her own daughters for the book. It actually worked. It actually worked out for her.
Yeah, I got to go back and read it. Anyway, one of the things that she talks about is your success in anything. Effort times skill equals success. That's the formula. Effort times skill equals success, right?
That's all it is.
And so what's interesting about that is, so effort is pretty self-explanatory, but skill is a little deeper, right? So how do you gain skill at anything? Effort times skill equals success. So another way of saying that is like, if I'm really, really, really skilled, it takes me less effort to get the same results. Or if I'm not very skilled, I got to put in more effort to get the same results, right? Effort times skill equals success.
Yeah.
I just went algebra on you. Anyway, the interesting part about skill, though, is there's only one way to build skill in my experience, and that's through repetition, right? Learning and repetition. Skill, learning, repetition. But Malcolm Gladwell talks about it in Outliers, 10,000 hour rule, right?
Mm-hmm.
It takes time on task to become proficient at anything, right?
Yep.
Right? Repetition, learning. Well, there's only one way to get repetition and learning, and that's through effort.
Yeah.
So kind of the formula for success is effort times effort over time equals success. So if I were a new agent, I would just aim to put myself in the position to talk to as many people and negotiate as many things and ask for help. Never be embarrassed to ask for help. Always like never do the thing where like someone says to you afterwards, like, man, why didn't you just ask me? I would have told you to do it this way, right? Like just ask up front. No matter how much you think you're bothering people, you're not. Right? You're never bothering somebody when you're asking for help. That's the interesting thing. You ever been in a classroom and there's always one person that asks all the questions, or have you ever been that person? I've been that person.
I've been that person
where I'm just asking all the questions and I start to feel self-conscious. And then somebody comes up to me afterwards and goes, hey, I'm so glad you're asking all those questions because I was thinking it. Like if you're thinking it, somebody else is thinking it, ask, right?
Yep.
But anyway, so effort times skill equals success, which is really effort times time on task. Effort and time on task equals success. Anyway.
Well, and there are books on negotiation. There are. I've read them. I haven't found a good one. I'm just being honest. I haven't found a good one. I haven't found a book that beats actual practice on that kind of a skill. On that kind of a skill. I said that right.
Yeah.
I mean, have you?
I've started to read Never Split the Difference.
Yeah, that's a good one.
He does a pretty good job with it.
Yeah.
that's a former FBI hostage negotiator.
Mm-hmm.
And what he is actually saying, by the way, is on Never Split the Difference is like, Donna, that was nerdy. Look,
there it is.
Yeah. What he said, the reason he's saying is Never Split the Difference is because, like, instead of focusing on like splitting the difference, focus on what does that person need and what do I need, and then find the middle ground.
And
right.
Yep.
Yeah. And that's good negotiation.
That is good negotiation.
Yeah.
It's good to bear in mind, right? As an overlay on any negotiation. Yeah. That's a great point. Yeah. That's a great point. And don't forget, like, none of us, like nobody that's a good negotiator just woke up and they were a good negotiator. You know, it's a decade of working at it.
There's some parent on this call that completely disagrees. Like, you should hear my 4-year-old negotiate. But even then, right? Angela Duckworth would say there's people that have inherently more skill with certain things than other things.
Yeah.
And anybody can be anything over the course of time. I mean, there's certain things that you can't, like, no matter how hard I practiced, I was never going to be an Olympic runner, but it's, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay.
There's some physical limitation, but yeah, anyway.
Yeah. But if you practice really hard, you know, to Malcolm Gladwell's point, you can get into the top 2, 3, 4% worldwide.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, how many people are in the Olympics? Olympics for running, 100? I don't even know. I don't know the answer to that question. But it's such a finite, small number.
Like, I just pictured, like, and now everybody's going to run. It's the Olympics for running. There's just a bunch of people running around.
It's just people running, like, in the streets.
Oh my God, it's so funny.
Yep. There you go.
That was really interesting Q&A today.
This is good.
Yeah.
This is good. I'm feeling personally challenged. I like it.
Yeah, this is a really, really interesting Q&A today.
Oh, it's really good.
Yeah. What else, guys? What else? Nicole wants to do a Target run today. That's the big event around here. So,
is that my fault? I mentioned Target.
Did you mention Target? Nah, this is a negotiation this morning. Hey, I'd really like to go to Target. And then I go, do you want to go as like a family trip? She goes, if that means I get to walk around by myself while you take the kids. And I was like, today, you should go to Target. Have a good time.
Right.
Buy some more cozy pillows. Whatever.
That's right. That's right.
So good. All right. I like this. Bring it full circle in the end. Tell us what your favorite 90s movie is.
Ooh. Okay. I know mine because I was actually thinking about this the other day, and then I went back and I watched it again, and it did not age well. Are you ready?
Yeah, what is it?
I'm going to throw it out there. PCU.
Yeah, that movie did not age well.
No, it was such an amazing movie at the time, right? Like, yeah. I mean, okay. This is Jeremy Piven when he still had a little bit of hair left. This is David Spade, a young David Spade, right? And this is them going to
Spade's best role, by the way. David Spade was fantastic in that movie.
Hands down. And I'm listening to this podcast, and I heard it come up. You're listening to the same podcast, aren't you?
Yeah.
And I actually went and pulled it out, and I was like, okay, I'm actually going to sit down and watch this. And the guy was right. The guy was just like, and I'm sitting there like, okay, it wasn't what I remembered it to be. So in my youth and in my memory, that is definitely one of my top at least 3 or 4 movies. But in reality, it's probably fall off the list.
90s movie.
Yeah.
Mine's not even close. Mine's a runaway. But go ahead. What were you gonna say?
Okay. I think my number one 90s movie, and I'm going to go with this. They did re-release Star Wars in 1999. That's what I'm going with.
And then they just added the special effects. I actually like the special effects less, so I like the original movie better.
I do too, but I just like Star Wars.
Yeah, I do like Star Wars.
Yeah. Like even Star Wars with special effects is better than anything else.
Yeah. I don't disagree. Runaway favorite for me, the Sandlot.
Was that 90s?
1993. Yeah.
Oh my God, that was such a good movie.
Runaway favorite.
For
Probably watched the movie more times than any other movie in my life.
Yep.
You're killing me, Smalls. Hey, by the way, Kristen, that's really funny because I just paid one while we were bullshitting around. I got hit.
Nice.
I got hit.
I'm trying to think of what else. I mean, Dumb and Dumber was great. That came out of the 90s.
Dumb and Dumber was great too.
Yeah.
I don't know how well Dumb and Dumber ages.
You know, I haven't seen that one in 15, 20 years.
Are they aggressive with the R word?
Yeah, they really are, aren't they?
I actually don't remember. That's the only thing I could think of.
I like The Rock. I don't know why, but for some reason, yeah. And there we go with the Nick Cage, but with Sean Connery, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. If anybody's seen it, you've seen it. You know.
Yeah.
And then they put out Con Air, which is basically The Rock Part 2.
Con Air was good, yeah.
Yeah, Con Air was like The Rock, but with him on steroids.
I really liked Speed. Wasn't that 92?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, with Sandra Bullock and whoa. What's his name?
Keanu Reeves.
Oh, The Matrix. That was a 90s thing.
Was that that was 1999?
Yeah.
That might be.
It was like 98 or 97, but it was based in 99.
It's really hard to argue with that. Yeah, gosh. Gosh, that's a really good one.
I've got a What Dreams May Come.
All right, here. Rolling Stones has a list. Rolling Stone, the magazine, has a list.
All right, let's pick it up. I want to see this list.
Yeah, I'm finding it. All right.
Rolling Stone's pretty legit.
What is it?
I think Rolling Stone's pretty legit. It's probably a decent list, right?
Yeah, Rolling Stone. Yeah, for sure. For sure, Rolling Stone. That's a good list. All right. Top 100 greatest movies. Thanks, MailChimp. All right. So they go Romeo and Juliet. That's pretty good. I really like the scene. Clerks is great.
No, Clerks was
66. I don't think I ever saw that.
What is that?
Ice Storm, never saw it.
No idea.
Suicides.
Nope.
Orlando.
Nope.
Singles.
Nope.
Billy Madison. I take it back. I probably watched Billy Madison more than any other movie in my life. Usual Suspects, really good.
That was so good.
Yeah, Dumb and Dumber.
Okay, we can't talk about that movie. But it was so good. If you haven't seen that, you have to see that. Casino.
Yeah, Usual Suspects is great.
Casino was good.
Titanic. Swingers is a good movie. Last Night. Red Lantern, Election.
Oh, Fear and Loathing.
Fear and Loathing it was okay. I didn't.
Yeah, you ever read the book? The book was
Shawshank.
Okay.
But the Shawshank's only 78 is kind of crazy to me. Terminator 2. Something About Mary. God, it's a great movie. City of Lost Children. Schindler's List, great movie. Before Sunrise. It's all choppy. It's like so much stuff.
Oh, Edward Scissorhands.
That feels like a different life, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
Let's skip ahead to the top 20.
Yeah, let's do that.
Right?
I gotta say though, I really do like Tim Burton. I do.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Nightmare Before Christmas, 100%.
Fight Club, Paris is Burning. Jeez, Pete.
I can't see it. What'd you do? There it is.
Fight Club. Fight Club's great.
Yep.
Toy Story's great.
I forgot that was in the 90s.
Reservoir Dogs is great.
Reservoir Dogs.
Oh, if you're not into gore, don't watch Reservoir Dogs. The Matrix.
It was 99. Okay.
Boogie Nights.
Boogie Nights? Fargo.
Good. I like Fargo.
No, Fargo was pretty
Did you
good.
ever see this? I didn't see this.
Nope. I didn't see that.
Next, Groundhog Day.
Yep.
Groundhog Day is like maybe the most replicated movie ever.
Oh, yes, it is. Yeah. There was a new one that was just done with Tom Cruise. It was basically a Groundhog Day, but with aliens.
Yeah, you're talking about the Tomorrow Never Dies?
I think that one was that James Bond? Tomorrow Never Dies?
No, sorry.
Not Tomorrowland.
No, it was called The End of Tomorrow, Edge of Tomorrow.
The Edge of Tomorrow. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about, right? With the alien and then
yeah.
By the
way, that movie.
Emily Blunt was in it. Emily Blunt was in it.
That movie might be 10, 15 years old, by the way.
Dude, you're killing me. Let me have this moment of that movie being 5 years old.
I'm just telling you that Pulp Fiction's great.
Oh, that's a good one.
Silence of the Lambs. I'm not into the Silence of the Lambs movie.
Oh, dude, I love that movie.
That's too gory for me. And I like horror movies, but that's too much for me. Safe?
I don't know what that is.
Hoop Dreams. That was a good movie. What's number one? Goodfellas. Okay. Not my number one, but I see you. Edge of Tomorrow. 2014.
7 years. I'm good with that.
That's not too bad. All right. All right, you guys. I'm going with Pretty Woman. I like that. All right. Well, let's end it.
Let's do it. You got to watch some kids.
We kind of talked about this at the beginning, but look, we made front page. We're so proud of it. We made front page in a couple categories for Keller Williams. 180,000 agents. Keller Williams. We're really proud of it. And again, Again, we talked about love and fear today, and I just want to thank all of our clients and our people and all the families. It's a lot of families that depend on what we're doing, and so anyhow, just can't appreciate you guys enough, and thank you, and thanks for hanging out with us. We do this every Saturday. Anything else to add, Mike?
That's all I got, guys. I mean, today, again, great questions. Love the questions about potentially going on the market and selling. Love the questions about inside the business. Love the questions about how to skill up. That's awesome. Keep bringing them every week. Seriously, this is what makes this fun.
Yeah, this is a lot of fun.
Yeah, and for next week, we're going to go over our favorite 90s singles.
90s, like music singles?
Like Cake the Distance.
He's going the distance. He's going for speed.
100%. 100%.
All right, guys. See ya.
Have fun.